G'day, guys, and welcome. I've got my Carlton Superman hoodie on, but I must admit, I don't know. This is the round 23 preview for our clash against the Gold Coast Suns at Heritage Bank Stadium on Saturday afternoon, 2:10 start. The penultimate round of the home and away season in the AFL before the finals. And I've got this, I don't know, got this sick feeling in my stomach. Sick feeling in my stomach about this game. And it's not even necessarily a history against the Suns. It's not even about that. Well, it is. It is a little bit of that. And I know that we've exercised some demons, pardon the pun, over the last, over this 8-week period. Every obstacle that's been thrown in front of us, we've jumped and jumped with gusto. But I just feel like every challenge now, and put it this way, if we were facing the Giants at Marvel this week, I'd be feeling so relaxed. I don't know. It's just this trip. It's the trip. I think it is. It's the road trip now. But that's sitting really. I'm really uncomfortable. And I actually see this purely, and I know every contest really should be 50-50, but it's not. But I actually feeling this is genuine 50-50 contest, regardless of the fact of where these two teams sit on the ladder and the extraordinary turnaround over the last 2 months since the last time we played this mob. To think after round 13 of this season, we were 15th and they were 11th. That's when we played them at the MCG, and now we are 5th and they're 15th. I mean, that is shake your head type sort of stuff. But I can't get this feeling out of my stomach. And really, when you think about it, like they should be. The Suns should be. They should be clocked out. Interim coach can't play finals. They should play in our favour, and we've got everything to play for. The ramifications still slim chance of still finishing top 4. Still a chance of falling out. And you look at the ladder. You look at the ladder, and you look at even just to win the last 2 games. That chance to remain and stay in 5th position on the ladder. And what that could afford you. We know it will be. The possibilities of playing a Melbourne team in Melbourne, you finish 5th, are really high. But we could also face the Sydney Swans. Okay, here. Be very difficult for them to come here, or we could face a GWS or an Adelaide here as well, which would play into our favour, surely. But if we slip, we slip up. There's a chance, you have to travel. You slip into the finals, finish somewhere, and you're just out of luck, and it's just... Maybe I've got a fucking massive chip on the shoulder. I've just been burnt so many times that this, the prospect of having to travel the first time you play finals, and you look at Sydney hovering around there, and you got to go to the SCG in an elimination final. I just think it'd be an absolute, such a fucking anticlimax. It would be such an anticlimax. And I know the Doggies in 2016 elimination final went to Perth. I know that. You just dealt, you just deal with it. But I don't know. Am I being greedy? Am I thinking too much about it? Let's just worry about this weekend against the Gold Coast Suns. But There it is. Yeah, there it is. The incentives for winning these last two games are huge, But for some reason, I'm just feeling this is a 50-50 contest because I don't think the Suns are that bad. I really don't. Although we did really stitch them up. Only for one quarter, though. One quarter. The last time we played them. And that quarter was, it felt like the thing that sparked us. Um, that second quarter at the MCG back in round 13 where we we won that quarter. We're outscored them by 54 points in that quarter. Um, Incredible. And we really haven't looked back since. Um, and the weather, I worry about the weather. I worry about the conditions. I worry about the trip. And you think about beautiful conditions this Saturday on the Gold Coast. I'm going to put my Rob Gel hat on here. 22 and very, very beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. It's only going to be 37% humidity. Only 19k winds. No rain. Not too hot. And if you look at today, for example, it's nearly 80% humidity. Awful. Friday, 52% humidity. We get the good day. We get the favourable conditions. Sunday's going to be 52% humidity. So we actually got nice conditions, but that sunshine on the skin, getting off the plane. And I know these players are used to travelling and all that type of stuff, but we're in a really cold winter, like a cold winter, and you take a trip up there and they'll be doing everything in their power, and everything. But you get off that plane and that first onto the tarmac and just that nice sunshine and heat onto the skin, and almost like, does it send you into just slightly relaxation mode? Who knows? But that's what I'm worried about. And we know the Suns, they play that ground really well. They play that ground exceptionally well when they're on. And if you give them the slightest sniff, and they are young and they are enthusiastic. But just want them to be clocked out. I really do. I want them to be clocked out. Interim coach got their eye on fucking Damien Hardwick coming. There's nothing to play for. I want us to get there, and I want us to stamp our authority right from the fucking get-go. Not even give them a chance. Not even give them a chance to work into this game. I don't know if it's as easy as that. I just don't know. It's an ideal scenario. And they're not a bad football team. They have some genuine strengths through their midfield, in their forward line if they're on. They've got some decent key backs, but they're a little bit, I suppose their weakness is a little bit shaky with their small defenders, medium defenders, and Will Powell is injured. I don't think he'll play. Really rate him. So yeah, I am genuinely worried about this. Recent form, I'm not going to go through ours because we know. But the reason why I'm worried, because they smacked the Lions there. They smacked Brisbane there. Only 2 or 3 weeks ago, they smacked them, blew them out of the park. They easily accounted for St Kilda there. So they're a difficult proposition. But maybe that was still when they had a slight sniff in their nostrils of finals, because they've lost their last 2. But the last 2, they haven't been awful. They're actually quite good last week against Sydney on the road. And maybe that was their last chance. Maybe they threw everything into that. Although Ben King didn't play. Ben King didn't play last week, but he's due to come back this week. So did they necessarily throw everything into that? But their form is okay. But we know ours is so good. But I'm still seeing this as such a tricky a tricky game. Um, that last encounter we played them, it was just like, yeah, it was incredible. Um, it was incredible because we were slow to get going in that game, and it took some brilliance. It took some brilliance from Jack Martin in that game to get us going, and he's a former Sun in that now. I think he worked someone over and kicked the ball to Adam Chera, and he's such an important player for us at the moment. And he goes over there against his old club, and we want him to play a really big one. In fact, there's so much to talk about in regards to selection for this game, um, and who's in the mix. I mean, it's just a source of fascination at the moment with us. And I, if anything, for this game, I know there's a lot of talk around Harry at the moment, and I must admit, the only reason why I'm going to talk about the Harry situation is because someone in my last video um, said if I could talk about Harry in regards to all the stuff that's been said over the last couple of weeks, particularly this week, regarding Harry should go back through the VFL. We don't need him, trade him, blah blah blah. But before I do that, um, we're not getting either Welsh or Chera back, and there's probably no reason. Like you'd be playing with fire to risk those two with hamstrings at this stage. Even though these games are really important, you're just not bringing him back. You're not risking it. But it hurts to lose Doc. It really does. I think Sam Docherty won't play with that calf. He looked a little bit down after the win. He looked happy, but he looked almost to the point where he probably knows he's going to miss a week, potentially two. Not getting back Kennedy back. Decent win in the twos. Jordan Boyd outstanding with 26 touches. Jackson Binns continues to impress with 26 disposals. Don't think they're going to debut anyone. But this week would have been really, really handy if we were replacing Docherty, because that just stretches us. It does. It just stretches us a little bit more through the midfield. And you're asking a lot of Cripps, Hewitt, and Dow to continue. I know Akers and Cottrell and Hollands all roll through there in regards to our wingers, but you're asking a lot of those guys, okay? And I just can't wait to get Welsh and get Chera back. And I would have loved to have got one of them back this week. That would have made me feel a lot more confident about this game. Jack Silvani's a chance to come back. And obviously Harry's the big one now. Look, it's just a no-brainer for me that Harry comes back. If he's cherry ripe and his body's fine, he just comes back into this team. As far as all the sort of media stuff goes with us at the moment and with Harry, I don't listen. Look, I don't consume a lot of media or mainstream media. I pretty much avoid related TV shows, whether it's on the AFL app or whether it's on KO or Foxtel or all of it. I just avoid them. I just avoid them like the plague. I avoid articles. I just don't. One, I just don't have the time, and two, I'm just not interested in that. And I'd also like to, I suppose, formulate my own thoughts on one, football, and two, our club. So I don't get sucked into it. In the past I did, but I don't. But what I do know is that we will always be a talking point. Our football club will be a talking point, always, regardless of whether we are meek, weak, shit, hopeless, building, getting stronger, powerhouse, whatever that may be. We will always be a talking point, and arguably probably probably just outside of Collingwood, the most talked about football club in the competition from an interest point of view, from a click point of view. Now, I feel that we are probably even more um, click. What's the word I want to use? Clickbaitable than someone like Collingwood, because we have a fan base which is suffered for such a long time, and what I see happening at the moment is, and I'm just going to use, say, Craig Hutchie as an example here, because he owns so much, and he controls. He's a very, very smart man, very, very smart man. As far as sporting prowess goes, he probably fucking couldn't get a kick in a karate movie playing football, but he's smart. And I don't think he's probably got great knowledge in regards to the way the game is played. But what he has got great, unbelievable knowledge in, he's a fantastic business person, is the way to manipulate the story and the narrative. And he sees this opportunity to, right now, and I reckon he's feeding this, I really do, through his everything that he's got his hands on. They're feeding this Harry, and they're feeding us, the supporter base, and they know we will respond. They know we will respond, because we are one, protective, but we also are starved of success. And the more we get talked about, okay, the more we're just going to jump on and respond. So I don't feel that the Harry talk has got any merit at all, none at all. It's just a no-brainer. He comes back in, he straightens us up. I think you can acknowledge that against the really, really good teams, that you need more than just one key forward. And even against Collingwood, like Charlie played well in that game with his 6 goals, but let's face it, he did win quite a few free kicks. And last week, he's kicked 2. Week before, he only kicked 1. Our scores are dropping slightly as the pressure and as that sort of finals sort of intensity, and we need goal kickers. And I know and understand all the talk around getting that even contribution, and it might take some of our smalls out who have been sensational. They've been sensational, gives us some flexibility, but you're not leaving Harry Mackay out of this football team. I just think the all the talk is just that. I just think it is an opportunity to drive a narrative, which we are feeding, and that's all I want to say on it. Because one thing I do know about our club, even though I have got this sick feeling about this game, because I feel this is the Gold Coast game I'm talking about now. I've got a sick feeling because we're going to have to lose. We're going to lose at some stage. I just feel like we're going to lose at some stage, and this is a really tricky game. This is a fucking really tricky game. A dangerous side, young side, if they're switched on, can give us some trouble, and we're still not at full strength. And given the conditions, given the travel, I'm concerned about it. But what I do know, not so much what I do know, but what I am confident is, in fact, 110% confident, is that our club is not listening or engaging in any of this outside noise. And that includes really us fans, Carlton fans, and especially the mainstream media. Sure, some would be reading it and stuff, but they are not engaging in it. I am 100% sure that they know exactly what they need to do. Okay, and I don't think they'd be sitting back listening to talk around Harry. Okay, I'm 100% sure they wouldn't be. And that's when you think about it, when you really think about it, guys, that's what's actually got us through. That's part of the reason that's got us through this really difficult period, is because they didn't get sucked in. They didn't listen. Okay, they didn't listen to all that white noise. Um, so I'm going to leave it at that. If he's fit and available, I can't wait to see him back into this football team. Who goes out, I'm not quite sure, but I really feel that a strength of the Gold Coast Suns is around the ball, and losing Doc will hurt. Will hurt. Um, so that is interesting in itself. Because don't be surprised if we lose Doc, that means that Ed, who was the sub last week, either remains as a sub or may even come into the team. It's going to be really interesting to see how that unfolds. As far as the Gold Coast goes, obviously Ben King is available to come back. He missed with injury last week. Apparently Braden Fiorini, who always seems to play okay against us, actually a quality player. He's been playing really well in the VFL. He had, I think, like 35 disposals. And so they've got some players to come back in. But, yeah, Ben King is expected to return. And given that Sam Day played last week, Casbolt played, obviously, Ben King, they got some genuine height down there, some genuine height. And we're not necessarily blessed with that in our back half, although we have been holding up very well. So that will be interesting in itself. So let's have a look at the teams, guys, because as I said before, I think they've got some genuine firepower forward, and a really good midfield. A really good midfield. I mean, Ballard, Collins, McAndrew are good on their day. I mean, Collins is now a very reliable fullback. You would think he gets Charlie. And he's a tough nut to crack. He really is. So I just feel like, fuck, why wouldn't you get Harry back in to make them honest, to keep them honest? I feel like their small backs can be got, which makes it a bit of a quandary, really, because you might have to drop one of our small forwards, who could cause some headaches for their sort of lesser likes down back, the likes of Darcy McPherson. I think Rory Atkins has been playing a little bit in the back half, so they're not stacked with small defenders, or medium type defenders. But I really like their midfield. I really do. I think it's got a nice balance. Really hard. And the last time we played this mob, they didn't have Tuke Miller. And the last time we played this mob, I think we had all of our midfield available, from memory. Walsh, Chera, Cripps, I think they all played. I think even Kennedy played as well. I think Hewitt might have been out. Hewitt might have been the only one. He might have been sub. Anyway, I didn't get back through that. But Witts, quality ruckman, fucking skipper, leads really well. Rowell, Miller will probably go to Cripps, you would think. And if he doesn't go to Cripps, there's probably not another option for him to go to. And then you've got, the experience of Brandon Ellis on a wing. They're not too bad. They're not too bad through there. I really like it in that forward line as well. I mean, Noah Anderson's the other midfielder as well. He's a quality player. And I've spoken about that, their tools in their front half who can be dangerous. And they just got those really annoying sort of smalls that can always, not so much get under your guard, but on their home deck, in the safety of their backyard at Heritage Bank Stadium when it's nice and sunny and the crowd's behind them and they just, your Malcolm Rosas and your Ben Ainsworth, they're tricky customers. So too Bailey Humphrey, who's a young star. All right, guys, that's a 24-minute preview of a very, very worried My Blue Heaven. It's one of those ones I'm going to be Saturday afternoon away game. at the Gold Coast. He's got a feel about it that I don't like. Am I overreacting? I know Paul Dixon and all first subscribers love yous. All the people who comment on these previews and reviews love all the thoughts, the different thoughts, the positivity, the negativity, the worry, the pessimism, the optimism. I like everything. The humour. Paul Dixon, I know you're just rolling along at the moment, mate, with your confidence. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this one. Am I once again probably just overreacting somewhat? Anyway, look forward to doing the review on this one. Speak soon, guys. Take care.